Doom the Dark Ages Revelations may just pass up every single Doom game invented, including Doom Eternal. Will it? You'll see. Alright, we gotta start with the Chain Spear, because I think this is going to be better than Doom Eternal's Meathook. Yeah, I'm saying this on record. Here's why. So, you get empowerment charges when you use this thing, okay? And you get power abilities. You can slam it down, you can stab it, and you can throw it. Each one of those has different use cases and strengths on different types of enemies. So you're going to have a lot of different opportunities. You can counter enemy attacks with the spear, whether that's parrying something back or just simply attacking them with it, since each enemy type you'll be able to counter in its own way. So like for instance, a throw will do more damage against a flying enemy, and if you want to stab, maybe that's better for a grounded enemy type. Now, will you be able to upgrade the abilities? And the reason I talk about the Meathook with it, this counter effectiveness, it spreads out to other enemies. So the spear will be good for anything, but also great for certain situations. And being able to understand that and find out when to use what at just a moment's notice is absolutely key. People talked about the Dark Ages combat being more horizontal and didn't like as much as Eternals. Well, this is going to give you a lot of stuff in your left hand to really consider how to use this and add to this combat puzzle chess. Now, if you think about it, the Meathook in Doom Eternal was a relic of the Slayer's past. This thing looks and behaves like it, but more. There's actually a Meathook ability on this. You can go way up in the air on the combat, and you can just go to the left, go to the right. Like with the Meathook in Eternal, you could do that too, but this is very intentional looking movement. Like you will set this up and create a vertical combat space for you to go, and you can chain your Meathooks together, just hop around through the air. So it's basically taking the Meathook in Doom Eternal and adding to it. Now, one thing we also did with the Meathook in Eternal, sort of unofficially, before this orbit ability is added, so you're going to hook on an enemy with this orbit, right? And you're going to circle around them. So not only while you're circling around them, you're charging up your gun abilities, which is great, but you're also positioning yourself differently, because now you're on a horizontal space instead of vertical. So if you don't like the vertical flying around of Doom Eternal, great, you can still find a use case for the spear and be strongly effective with it, because now you're taking yourself and moving in a different position. So if you are in a big crowd of enemies, you need to get out, you can orbit maybe around one enemy, being a moving target, repositioning yourself in another way. It's crazy what you'll be able to do with it. You can fling yourself in there, and that's fine, which is great. If you want to get out of somewhere, you can circle around the enemy, lock on it. It's just, the possibilities are all right there for you. Now, Hugo said that when you first get the spear, it's going to feel a little weak. I mean, we're used to having this super powered shield, and now we have this weak little spear. Well, if you give it a chance to upgrade, you're actually not going to get the best upgrades till the end game. We're going to talk about the base and end game here in just a minute, because this is something they've never tried in a Doom game before that I can ever recall on my 37 years on this planet, okay? So you get the end game upgrades through these special resources, these red things, so it's going to be a whole currency of upgrade for you. So while you will go in with your guns maxed out, ready to go, you're going to have to choose and be figuring out mentally how do you want to upgrade your spear. Now, it's not just a spear, right? Well, why? Okay, here's the thing. If we have this spear, what's the point of this shield? This thing just overshadows everything about this shield, right? Why do we need that anymore? This is going to be dull. Spear only? No. This is why. The spear and the shield can be quick swapped. Just like, you like to do with guns in Eternal, you get to quick swap the spear and the shield. So you have the defensive power of the shield to be able to bash into enemies, fly across the room, and then maybe some offense from the spear. So if you maybe feel a little bit iffy about going in a situation, you can use the shield to give yourself a little protection. If you want to trade off some protection for damage, you can bring out the spear and take that risk that way. Or you can swap back and forth to be at the highest level of play. So DPS is damage per second, and the faster an enemy dies, the less damage they can do to you. So killing them quickly will have its benefits, while not being too sloppy, being a controlled combat unit to be able to figure out the best way to handle the situation. Go too fast, take damage and die. Go too slow, they damage you, you eventually make a mistake. Super, super handy. Now, this is the thing about that. You will be utilizing both of them with the master arenas, which are the hardest arenas in the game that they have put forth. More on that too. So you can slash and slam and throw dash, orbit with the spear. You can do whatever you want. You can break armor with the slash. You can kill fodder with it, parry attacks. You have brand new spear glory kills. And on top of charging everything, this spear is, it's just, I cannot understate, like, this is the information we have right now, and it is already so massive. So we have new enemies too, don't forget. The Archvile makes a return. He summons demons, but he doesn't resurrect them like in the classics. It might be an engine thing, maybe it's a gameplay balance thing, but you can use that spear. You can stab the Archvile, his little summon guys, and basically make them bombs and explode them. Pretty crazy. There's a Warlock enemy that's out that buffs demons and has AoE hazards that he creates, so kind of reminds me of maybe like an Acolyte, but a little crazier. Definitely somebody that you want to knock out very quickly, including new enemies like the Buzzsaw that you see on your screen here, which is going to incorporate the dashing away from him. It's pretty cool. So not only will there be new enemies, there are new variants of them, such as the Spectre Whiplash is back and a Spectre Revenant. Now what interests me is the Hammer Agadon Hunter. Yes, a hammer bro. When he smashes the ground, it looks like it creates a spike field on where you were standing. So this basically creates an effect similar to the Cyber Mancubus of Eternal, an area of denial effect, which means that you can't stand there, so any movement, any positioning that you were doing, you now have to consider that that area of the playing field is off limits, at least a touch. Maybe you can go over top of it, but you can't go on it. So for anyone who thinks the Agadon Hunter needed a new challenge, you got one right here. And of course, who could forget the Cosmic Pain Elemental throwing lost souls at you? Notice the spear going in and out on the flying enemy, throwing it back and in. It just adds a whole element to the Dark Ages that was not there before, while still feeling Dark Agey. I think in Revelations, we are definitely going to have to focus on a concept called target prioritization, which you figure out who you need to get rid of first, in what order. Yeah, these guys are going to be up there. It's not just that. We're going to see new foes in terms of like new ways. Knights and zombies will be explosive. So you really don't want to get up close and take out a knight like you normally would, right? It's going to be a whole thing to make you think differently in combat. Health zombies will be present, so instead of a whole pack of zombies that can just attack you from the back when you're backing into a corner or another place, which is not a great idea, you're going to get hit by them and surprise. Well, now you're going to have a health zombie that will serve that same function as a fodder crowd, but you'll be able to use them for instant refills without worrying about having to focus on the fodder, but in the hard fights with the enemies. Very interesting concept there. A lot of enemies are going to be dodgy, evasive. They're going to pull you around the whole arena. Maybe that sphere and the orbit will come into play very well with new arenas and everything. So we have what's called the base game, okay? And then we have the end game. So you're going to get these upgrades and along the way, but 60% of your time is going to be in this base game. It's the first part of the levels. And then once you beat that, the last 40% of the game is going to be in the end game. So you're going to be, if you've ever played Hexen, this will be very familiar to you. It's a hub based. So you will have the 4 levels and your hub, which is gigantic. So when you beat the base game, you might be thinking, well, hey, crap, I don't want to just walk through the same level again. I already did this once. It'll be boring. Well, no. Endgame will have new areas. You might be walking around the base game and see some new gates you can't go through yet because those are reserved for the end game. So the reason I say Hexen is because you traverse through areas you've already been, but they feel new and fresh because you're doing fresh, new things in a fresh new area. The end game is going to be really hard, and you're going to, like I say, get the upgrades for your armor, your spear, all that sort of stuff. You'll be able to look on your auto map and change it between the base and the end game, and you look at this cool new objective wheel that lets you mark what you want to do task-wise anytime you want. Now we have the Praetor Suit encounters, which are super hard, extra challenging encounters in the end game, which if you're really wanting something hard, that's what you can look for, as well as these Slayer Trials, which give you like the Doom 2016 arcade mode type of levels with scoring elements and everything else with them. All told, you're looking at 10 to 12 hours of gameplay, depending on how if you want 100% or not. And this is just basically taking from all the Doom games and making one gigantic Doomy experience. And so you think, okay, well, fine, I beat all that stuff, beat the end game. What else could there be? Well, classic levels to tell the story of the Doom guy in the past and let you go back and experience the 93 style of Doom. And really, here's the thing too. Once you beat all that in-game content, you're not done. You get this thing called an Astral Key, and it gives you access to an Uber Boss. And after you beat this guy, this is so much. They've never done this like in a Doom game before. You unlock a Master Arena Key, and you get access to 4 different of the hardest combat encounters that have ever been made in this Doom experience. Crazy stuff. Now, once you've got through all that combat, you think, well, what about the Atlan and the Dragon sections? Well, there are none this time around. The Dragon, well, if you're playing the expansion, you should probably know he has passed away. Okay, and so is the guy that killed him. And then that just doesn't work. So we think, what about the Atlans? Well, they've actually tried in development to make the Atlan section work, but it just didn't feel right, so that was dropped. So if you are a fan of the Atlan and Dragon sections, I do apologize if you don't like them. Well, hey, there you go. Well, if you do want more, 3 maps for the Ripatorium 3.0, and once you clear all this in-game challenging stuff, you'll be unlocking the new content in this Ripatorium. DLC enemies, presets, upgrades, once you beat those master arenas, and some new DLC music tracks by Andrew Hulshult, which is really cool because he's a very talented guy. We will finally find out who the wretch is that makes Doomguy's armor and see the lore from the past and so many more things that we have never... It's just scratching the surface of what this DLC offers, and it's going to be insane. Now, I broke down the trailer and you can find all the insane stuff that it revealed here. See you there.